What's going on, everybody? And today I'm going to talk about social media and how, and I've talked about this so much before, and it's a topic that have affected me and influenced me so much, and it goes just to, country planning and nation planning, and not even just to personal development or anything like that. It goes to even higher levels than things like personal development or personal motivation or anything like that, because I think now it's even an issue of national security for countries to take charge, and for countries to take to be accountable for protecting the brains of their own people, right? Because sometimes if you don't protect the brains of the people are gonna, their brains will be destroyed. It's one of the things that sometimes has to be protected, is actually the brains of the people. And now one of the biggest ways to influence and affect and sometimes destroy and disrupt the brains of the people is social media, right? And that's what you see a lot. And I'm going to give an example right now by something that maybe a lot of people go through, and maybe a lot of people get influenced with or influenced by on social media as they use social media and as they interact with social media, especially somebody that's maybe that's in a vulnerable state of their life, or somebody that's going through depression or lack of self-confidence, or maybe somebody that's been through something hard, a bad situation in their life, like they've been through a divorce, they have been through a loss of a lot of money, loss of their company, which these things happen to the most even established and successful and to the luckiest people on the planet. They go through these cycles of depression and cycles of ups and downs and things like that. So I'm going to mention an example. Let's say for a regular person, right? And especially if you're going through hard times. Let's say you're going through a hard time, or you have had something bad happen in your life, and then you start scrolling on social media. And that's why this can be so subtle yet so dangerous to people, right? And then you go on there, and then there's some kid or somebody posting on there a post, for example, like the age to make it, and for example, somebody makes a statement, the age for men to turn into the men they're gonna be for the rest of their life is between 25 and 30. They just choose a random number like that, and they make a statement like that, and maybe that person has, I don't know, 500,000 followers. So what happens is, let's say somebody's 31, and let's say they just had a loss of a job, or a loss in their career, or a loss in their business, and then they start social media and they see that post from somebody that may look like they're maybe successful because they have that amount of followers. They could actually be broke in real life or not have that much success, but that's what it looks like. And you think that this statement has any importance, as if people like perform extensive experiments and mathematical formulas before they actually say what they say, which is not the case. Nobody does that. People say random shit. People say random stuff on social media. They say the most random bullshit just because this person is probably somebody who's maybe 27, and he feels like this is his chance to make it in life, and if he doesn't make it at this age, it doesn't work like that. And then the people who have maybe are vulnerable mentally, or they're going through a period of their life or of lack of self-confidence, maybe lack of self-respect, maybe lack of achievement, maybe a loss, they look at that and they take it as a law, or as something to think less of themselves, or as something to judge themselves. Okay? And this is not the case. Why? Because just because some random person says trash on social media, or shows trash that you have no idea if this is true or not, number one, doesn't mean that what they're saying is true. Two, doesn't mean that what they're showing is true. And it doesn't mean anything about any law or any actual fact or scientific fact in the universe. It doesn't mean anything. People take their time in life, and they go through their different cycles. and they go through their different periods of development, and they mature and they reach the stages that they're able to reach at the time when they're ready to do that. It's because people have different circumstances and they grew up in different families, and they're subjected to different problems and different challenges and different, maybe some people have different traumas, and that's why people are different. So you look at somebody else and you want to take their scope, or you want to compare yourself to them, or judge yourself based on their criteria, but you cannot do that. You can only judge yourself by your own criteria, not by somebody else's criteria. And that's where a lot of people go wrong, right? And that's where a lot of people don't understand how messed up and how very dangerous to your mental health a lot of this social media stuff can be. That's where a lot of people don't understand a lot of these things. So, and that's why a lot of people let themselves get affected by this social media stuff. It's because they don't have that concept. And honestly, the best of all is to avoid it altogether. This is really like, if you can, some people can't because of their business is on there. Some people can't because they have some other stuff that they're doing on there. But if you're just a person that is disconnected monetarily from it, I don't think you should consume it until you plan maybe to offer some value on social media. And in that case, it's up to you to get on it and what protections you're going to put in place for yourself and for your brain to be able not to be negatively affected by it. But otherwise, I think you will be negatively affected by it, especially if you're someone that doesn't have good mechanisms of control in place for your time and for your effort to be able to save yourself from such things. You will be affected by it if you don't have these mechanisms in place, which you always should have these mechanisms in place. Always should have them in place. So this is just a few key points about this whole social media stuff. When it comes to people, especially people that, because if you're on a roll, and if you're in the state of flow, and if you're flowing with life, and you found something you love doing, you're making a lot of good money doing it, and you're flowing, you're not going to be subjected to that. You're not going to have time to go through social media and then fucking like regret things that you done in your life. This is usually when somebody's in a stage in their life where they fell down a little bit. They're maybe in a little bit of a rut, or maybe they have had a bad, went through an episode of bad depression, loss of business, loss of loved ones. That's when these things hit you. They don't hit you when you're in a state of flow and you're on a roll and you're just flowing with life and you're doing what you want and you're having fun. It only hits you when you're in these bad states, and that's when social media can be very destructive to your brain. So that's when it actually happens. And that's when the problems happen. So that's why it's very crucial to watch yourself, not when you're feeling happy, not when you're feeling satisfied with your life, but it's very crucial to watch yourself and watch these things when you're actually down in your life, when you're feeling like maybe your life, you've had a loss, you've lost $500,000, most of your life savings in an investment or in a trade or in a series of trades, or because of economic changes, or if you've lost your job. Think about how many people right now, tens of thousands of people, possibly hundreds of thousands of people, have lost their jobs because of the economic changes that came with something like a change of the administration in the United States, for example, and so many other countries. Tens of thousands of people. So somebody that they lost their job, that maybe they can't pay a mortgage, maybe now they lost their house that they have been living in for a while, and they were supposed to pay it off for the next 10 years and then just own it. Now they don't have that house anymore, they don't have that job anymore. Now maybe they're in the street, right? This was the person that maybe a month ago was like a nice, he had everything, figured out. He had a good federal job or something, a type of other job. But now, because of just changes in life, this job is gone and his house is gone and everything's gone, man. So he gets on social media and he sees some fucking kid who could be a liar, or could be projecting things that are not true, like the statement that I've mentioned, and he lets that affect his mental state or affect his feelings about his self-worth and his success in that downturn in his life. This is exactly what I'm talking about, that people should not allow situations like that or things like that to affect them negatively, especially when they're down in their life. So that's when you should watch out the most for these things. So watch out for social media. I mean, I have a specific guide that I designed, to help people, because millions of years and millions of hours will be wasted out of the life and out of the valuable time of people because of the social media stuff. And people that don't have the right systems and the right mechanisms to be able to control social media and consumption of social media, if they have a problem with that, which is like digital addiction and social media addiction, they're gonna fall prey to that. So what I introduce is basically a set of systems, a set of rules that will allow people to be able to control their brain in such a way that social media is not able to penetrate it, and in such a way that they're able to prevent themselves from falling prey into social media, wasting their time, deepening their states of like depression or maybe dissatisfaction with their life. And at the same time, if they're able to use it, they're able to use it in a productive and in a successful manner to themselves, and in a way that furthers their goals and achievements in life. So that being said, I hope you got something beneficial out of this video. Check out that guide, and I'll see you in the next one.